Let me give you one piece of advice. Be honest. He knows more than you can imagine.
At last. Welcome, Neo. As you no doubt have guessed, I am Morpheus.
It's an honor to meet you.
Please, come, sit. You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up. Ironically, this is not far from the truth. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix?
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Follow me.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. This is not of the Father, but is of the world. 1 John 2 gives us the three pillars that this world system is built on. Yeshua tells us in John 10 verse 10 that the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And it's through his established world system that he goes about accomplishing his agenda. The enemy's system was first implemented in the Garden of Eden. Genesis 3:1 states, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, Has Elohim said, You shall not eat of every tree in the garden?" Verse 6 goes on to tell us that the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took the fruit of the tree and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. We see that the woman saw that the tree was good for food. The enemy appealed to the woman's flesh by stirring up a desire within her to satisfy her flesh with the forbidden fruit. Here we see the lust of the flesh pillar of his corrupt system. It also states that she saw that the fruit was pleasant to the eyes. This is where the enemy's tempting creates a desire for something that did not belong to her. This is the lust of the eyes pillar that the scripture refers to as coveting. And the final pillar is pride. The enemy was able to deceitfully place a thought in her mind and lead her to believe she was lacking wisdom, and established a desire for something that was already given to her, which was Yah's instructions, his law, the very thing she would violate. The enemy stirred up a desire to be someone of perceived importance. Here we also see the truth of Yah's word found in Proverbs 16 verse 18, which states that pride comes before the fall. It was the final pillar of pride that went before the fall and collapse of Yah's system, and the establishment of the enemy's system in the now fallen world. The three pillars of the enemy's world system are crafted to appeal to and manipulate three of the main components that makes us human, which are what we see, how we think, and what we feel. Allow me to further explain. What we see has the ability to affect our thoughts and how we think. Our thoughts have the ability to affect our emotions and our feelings often stimulates desires. Our desires will often lead to actions. And in the case of the women in the garden, her actions led to violating Yah's instructions, thereby altering Elohim's plan for their lives as well as their descendants. This is why 2 Corinthians 10 and 5 states, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. In order to avoid being snared by the enemy's system, we must be mindful of what we see and take captive any thoughts that come to mind as a result of what has attracted our attention. Thoughts that are contrary to what the word of Elohim instructs us to do and what we are not to do. His system is designed to distract you through crafty temptation and lead you to his ultimate goal, which is to kill, steal, and destroy you.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
I was...
Look again. Freeze it.
The scriptures tell us in Romans 15 and 4 that, for whatsoever things were written before were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And when speaking about our Messiah and example, the scriptures tell us in Hebrews 4 verse 15 that we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. So let's take a look at Yeshua's experience and the example that was written for our learning. In the Gospel of Matthew, we find Yeshua's example for dealing with the enemy's tactics for bringing Yah's people into bondage to his world system. Matthew 4 verse 1 through 11. Then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you are the Son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread. Here we see the enemy's lust of the flesh tactic as he tries to tempt Yeshua by appealing to his hunger and flesh's desire. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Elohim. Verse 5 through 7. Then the devil took him up into the holy city, and set him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, If you are the Son of Elohim, cast yourself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone. This is the enemy's attempt at tempting Yeshua in being prideful based on his identity. Yeshua responds with, It is written again, You shall not tempt Yah your Elohim. Verse 8 through 10. Again, the devil took him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and said to him, All these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. This is the lust of the eyes pillar and tactic of the enemy's system. The word of Yah also refers to it as coveting. Yeshua responds by saying, "Begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship Yah your Elohim, and him only shall you serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and were ministering to him. It's very important to note two things. Yeshua brought every idea and thought into captivity that the enemy tried tempting him with, and stood firmly in obedience to the word of Elohim. And the second thing is, his responses of, "It is written," are all found in the Torah or law in the book of Deuteronomy. This is why Yeshua stated in the very next chapter, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot, will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." Matthew 5 verse 17 through 19. So in summary, we see that the enemy has established his world system that began in the Garden of Eden. First, John 2 and 16 tells us what the system is built on, which are the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, and that this is not of the Father, but is of the world. We understand that everything that was written for our learning, according to Romans 15 and 4, and it's in the Gospel of Matthew where Yeshua teaches us how to stand against the enemy and his attempt to bringing us into bondage to this world system. He taught his disciples to take captive the thoughts and ideas of this world and put them under submission to Elohim's law that was given to us, the chosen people, as our culture. 2 Corinthians 6 and 16 through 18. When speaking to the Israelites living in Corinth regarding the world system, the Apostle Paul quotes Ezekiel 37 and 27, as well as Isaiah 52 and 11, which states, "And what agreement has the temple of Elohim with idols? For you are the temple of the living Elohim, as Elohim has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be separate, says Yah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father to you, and you shall be my sons and daughters, says Yah, Almighty." Selah.
Let us make them remember. This is Zion, and we are not afraid!